Sup, ladies and gentlemen, Aquilon here, and of course, welcome back to each and every one of you. We're going to be talking about the WoWCast today. Now, I'm not going to go through everything that's been announced in the WoWCast. I'm sure that's already been done. I'm going to talk about the things that I care about and that I think most of you that watch this channel care about. So very much story stuff and maybe a little bit casual stuff because that's how I play WoW these days. At the end of the video, I am going to talk a little bit about the format of WoWcast and sort of what I would like to see going forward for the WoWcast. But spoiler alert, it was very good. It was actually a lot of fun to watch, and boy, was there some spoilers that we will definitely be talking about. But before we do that, to all of the patrons and the YouTube members, and of course the Twitch subs, thank you so much for all of your support. It means the absolute world to me. Without you guys, videos like this one would simply not be possible. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it, shall we? So first up, there's been a number of announcements around what I like to call sanctity of the storyline. Now, you guys know me. I have been complaining about the sanctity of World of Warcraft storyline for a really, really long time. Pretty much with every single expansion, the previous expansion is completely nullified, and with every patch, the previous patch is completely nullified. So it sort of builds this world where with every patch, you lose a bunch of content and then you gain a little bit of content, and almost just by the restrictions of content design, you're always going to lose more than what you gain, simply because you don't have enough time to make a patch as big as the base game. This time around, Blizzard seems to be taking a very different approach. So 10.1 takes place in Zaralak Caverns underneath Forbidden Reach. Of course, you guys remember Forbidden Reach. We went there in 10.07. Well, here's the interesting thing. If you have not played the intro questline for 10.07, so the Forbidden Reach intro questline, you will have to play through that story in order to get to 10.1. You will not be able to skip straight into Zaralak Cavern. It's not a long quest line. It will take you maybe half an hour at most. But what makes this cool is that it's not being replaced. Players that go to Zaralak Cavern will understand exactly what they're doing there. They would have played through that entire storyline. They would have gotten a lot more backstory about Abyssian, about Emberthal, about the Drakthir and their struggles, because that's really what that questline deals with. And considering Sarkareth and the Sundered Flame and those storylines, these are important stories to know. So it's very nice to see Blizzard going, you know what, we're not going to allow you to skip this. You have to play through this. And yeah, kudos to them for doing that. But they're doing more in terms of what the open world or the old world sort of encompasses within 10.1. For example, the Farak invasions. Farak and his primalists are obviously staging invades all over the Dragon Isles, specifically on Oran Plains and the Azure Span. And this is happening in the old zones. So new or players that's playing in 10.1, that's in Zaralak Cavern, that's doing things in Zaralak Cavern, they're still going to have need to go back to the old world and take care of Farak and his buddies that's causing chaos. The soup event, the kitchen event, the Red Dragonflight mealtime or some shit like that. I can't remember exactly what that's called. I've only ever done it once. I genuinely don't know when it's up. I think it's Feast. Something Feast. But I don't know when it's up. I just accidentally happened to stumble upon it one day and I was like, oh, this is the thing to do. I guess I'll do that. But the hunts, obviously, all of this is getting updated so that there's still a reason for you to go back to the old world and experience the old world. And then Zaralak Cavern is not disappointing, just to be fair. Just very quickly going to give a brief overview. Zaralak Cavern looks incredible. It is gorgeous. You have these 4 different biomes within it. All of it looks very cavey. And at the end of the day, it really makes it seem very large, even just from what I've been able to see now. The world events that's in there, the dragon riding that gets updated to sort of make sense to be able to fly inside a cave just brings another layer of complexity to it. They did mention something that I thought was relatively interesting. I haven't seen any mentions of this, but they could have just misspoken. But at one point in the WoWcast, they spoke about doing something completely new that they've never done before, being able to attack on your dragon. And I may have misheard, although I don't think so because I've listened to it twice. but I may have misheard. So maybe I just misunderstood what they said there. But it did seem like that's something that's going under the radar. Like, we just don't know about it, but, you know, never mind. If I have misheard, then I guess it's fine, right? But at the end of the day, I think it's really cool. We have the Nuffin, of course, that's coming, and this is very much for casual players, something that I think we're really going to enjoy. You have these Nuffin hunts, which allows you to explore story, secrets, puzzles, and more. So cosmetic items, and this is a whole mini game. You have the snail races, which I'm not gonna lie, I actually think sounds pretty cool. I'm still holding out for chocobo racing in World of Warcraft. It would have been cool if you could have your own snail mount that you have to race with. That would have been really cool. Although, at least in this one, you fix the snail race, and you have to fight off enemies that is attracted to the drop bar and all the rest of it. So in event, it sounds really cool. So I like the direction that World of Warcraft is going. And then, of course, a massive reveal that was... I still don't know if we've been trolled. I said this during the live stream as well when we were watching it last night. When they mentioned Galakron's return, and, you know, they spoke about Galakron's return, they spoke about timey-wimey stuff, they spoke about Murozond and the Bronze Dragonflight, they spoke about an evil Chromie. Yeah, I felt like I was being trolled. It genuinely felt like we weren't, because if we're not being trolled, that is massive spoilers, right? That is huge spoilers. And Blizzard have never done that. They've never given us that level of spoilers. So I personally think that it was trolling. They were basically just going off of all of the favorite sort of theories and speculations that we as a community have about things that we want to see in the expansion. They were like, yeah, let's just say all the things that they want to hear, and you know, we'll see where we go from there. So I do think they're sort of setting themselves up for a lot of people to be outraged when that isn't the case. But if it is true, apparently Murozond, the fall of Nosdormu, the rise of Murozond, and then Galakron, it's all tied together in some weird shape. The timey-wimey stuff would immediately take care of that, right? Because the Bronze Dragonflight could absolutely take us back to Galakron, and we could go see what Galakron was like during the Dawn of the Aspect era of World of Warcraft. So really cool stuff there. And all in all, I think right now, there has never been a better time to play World of Warcraft. Especially with a lot of the announcements of how they're making it easier to upgrade your gear, even across alts. If you use a token to upgrade a gear, that gear slot actually gets upgraded. So you don't have to feel like getting a new item is actually a downgrade because you don't have the token right now to upgrade that item. If you've already upgraded your shoulders and you get new shoulders, those shoulders go into a slot that is already upgraded. And for all your alts, that slot is actually discounted when you upgrade it. So it becomes cheaper when it's upgraded, when it's already done on your main. So I think personally, really, really cool from Blizzard. They really seem to be taking the approach this time around. We want players to play because they want to play. We don't want to force you into positions where you have to play. So I'm very much in favor of everything that Blizzard is doing here. And I'm very excited for it. So that's really the story stuff. I'll finish this video by just very quickly talking about the WoWcast. And sort of, it's not gripes. I'm not angry at the WoWcast, but there are things that I sort of wish they need to change, in my opinion. They don't need to, but they should, really. So it still feels a bit markety to me. It really felt like just watching an interview, but it's not with a content creator. It's with someone that works at Blizzard. You know, they ask the question, they set it up, and then it gets answered in such a way that it's marketing the game to the player base. Now, I'm not saying that that's wrong, but that really is where the interviews sort of slot in to World of Warcraft. If you give a content creator just half an hour to ask questions, all you're really doing is you're marketing the game, right? Because there's no real time for a back and forth and an actual dialogue to be initiated there. And the WoWcast, I really believe, should have been the Dave water cooler. For those of you that don't remember, back in the day, Blizzard did this for a while and then they just stopped. I don't know why they stopped, but they used to have these Dave water cooler blue posts. That was just a very, very long post with sort of like deep dives into specific elements within World of Warcraft. And this is something that I think the WoWcast would be absolutely perfect for. You know, imagine if you could have the developers of World of Warcraft on there speaking about the challenges of creating a half-blind race in the Niffen. You know, what are those challenges? What are things that they had to keep in mind as they're designing the world? You know, when they're creating the artwork for their houses and for their burrows, what's going into that? What's the thought process? Since they're blind or half blind at least, you know, why did you make it look this way? And what were you thinking about? Imagine the fun of that, and then also just the challenges of that. How fun such an episode would be to sort of walk away from that and get the way that the Blizzard developers think about how they're designing the game, rather than just it being, you know, a bit more marketing for the game. All in all, I think there's some incredible stuff going. We know that there's an actual encrypted storyline that we have no idea what it is on 10.1 or in 10.1. We know that the Green Dragonflight storyline will be continuing, but that will be in 10.1.5. Oh, and we also got a roadmap, brand new roadmap that seems to showcase 10.1.5 and 10.1.7 as being two separate patches. In the first roadmap, it didn't show that. It you know, so that's weird. We're getting two patches before we get 10.2. That's quite huge, and apparently both of those patches have story in them. So yeah, very, very exciting time, especially if you're like me and you care about the story of World of Warcraft, and I'm sure most of you that's watching this care about the story of World of Warcraft. So yeah, let me know what you think. Did you watch the WoWcast episode? Did you like it? And of course, what was your biggest takeaways from that? Remember to like the video if you liked the video, or subscribe to the channel if you want to see lore and speculation and sometimes videos of me just rambling about random stuff in World of Warcraft. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And to all of the patrons, the YouTube members, and the Twitch subs, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for supporting this channel, for always being there, and for helping me, and for just being amazing. I love you guys. Thank you so much for that. You can hit me up on all of my socials in the comment section down below. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace out, man.